Hi, I'm Sandy Genovese and welcome to the Ellison Education video series. You know, when I was teaching, my students' absolute favorite bulletin board was one like you see behind me. If you look closely, you'll see that there's a banner at the top where I've spelled out, "Welcome to our world." And I've just simply used I'll hold this up so you can see, an 8-inch alphabet in order to create the message on this banner. And then it's divided up and every student colors a section, and in 1 hour's time you have a great looking board. Now let me show you the steps on how that actually happens. You want to start, I started with butcher paper because it needs to be long enough to accommodate the size of your board. And then I created one that was the width that worked for the butcher paper that I had. So my butcher paper is 24 inches wide and then as long as your board needs to be. I took my lettering and I laid it down, the 8-inch letters. I traced around it with a pencil, and then I went back with a permanent marker, and using the pencil as my guide, I went ahead and I marked it. You can see I've already done these. Now I didn't put the whole banner up here because it's long and gets in the way, but it's the first section so you can see how this works. Now in order for each student to get a section, you have to cut it up. And the way that I did that, I'll turn it over so you can see. You turn it over and divide it in a way that works for the number of students that you have. So what I did, since mine was 24 inches wide, is I divided it into 3 sections this way. And then mine divided so that I have 8-inch increments going this way and 10-inch increments going this way. However, yours will vary based on the size of the banner paper that you have and how many students are in your class and the size of the bulletin board where you're going to display it. Once you have that worked out, you do need to be sure and put a numbering system on the back so that you have an easy way of putting the whole thing back together. And you can see I just drew out a little system. It's like a cheat sheet so that when all of these have been cut up and they're coming back and ready to be placed on the board, I know that I'm going to put the numbers going across until I hit 7, and then I'll start back down here at number 8 for the next row. So once you've put all the lines and you've numbered everything, with your scissors, you cut it up, and then you talk to the students about patterns. And it's fun to talk about things that they're familiar with. If you have tile on the floor, or wood flooring, does it look like stripes or does it look like checks? Do you have a ceiling that looks like it has those little circles that looks kind of like polka dots? Talk about all the repeated patterns that are great for creating just fun patterns. And then you hand out to every student a box of crayons, and trust me, you need to take the black and the gray out of the crayon box, because when you look back at the banner, you don't want to have anything colored in black that suddenly confuses where your message is. You want the black of the wording to really stand out. So every student gets a square, they color it in 1 hour, easily in an hour, they're finished. At the end of the hour, you have them turn it over and you say, who has number 1? And they bring it up and you staple it into the number 1 section. And then you say, who has number 2? And you bring it up, and eventually they realize that it spells words, and they start trying to guess what it says. I had the same wording, and my students thought it was going to say, we are the Mustangs, or, it's so much fun for them to get involved and interactive with this whole thing. Once the banner's up, based on extra space that you have on your board, there's a few other things that I put in that you could try. I have just black paper, and I've just used circles in different sizes in order to create another polka dot or another repeated pattern. I have stripes with just construction paper on the bottom, and then I've taken student work and another die that's the picture frame die in order to feature their class photo inside each of those frames for just a little bit of student work that, as you can see, goes across the bottom of the board. Now, this banner was created by 21 people here at Ellison who all had a blast spending an hour getting to color. But I tell you, your students are going to love it. A large banner that's cut into segments and a box of crayons for each student. It's really all you need for an awesome bulletin board.